back into power, the ANC could have formed a minority government.
Which would have been another way of getting into power, honestly.
Yeah, but let them get into power and run the country by themselves. But the DA has brought them back into power and given its vote to the ANC. But the ANC is continuing with the policies that the voters have said, we don't want this policy.
Exactly, but and without speaking for the DA, what informs that? Because the DA is very clear. They don't want transformation policies. They don't want employment equity. They don't want national health insurance. They don't want BEE. They don't want any of the transformation policies that the ANC swears by, but they get them back into power. And then while they are there, they say, we don't like these policies. Then it becomes like an inertia, a 5-year inertia. What explains that? I mean, can somebody just make me understand how the DA strategists thought this is a good idea?
Well, if you went to a lunatic asylum, you might get a good explanation. As you say, the DA rejects all the ANC policies.
Yeah.
But it brings the ANC back into power to continue with their policies. So now...
But maybe there's a strategy around it. Maybe they wanted to use...
I think we need a psychiatrist to examine the DA to explain to us what is going on in the DA's head.
Yeah, well, they can tell us why John Steenhuisen is buying KFC with the credit card of the DA, but that's a separate matter altogether. I'm just confused that after a year and a half of the GNU, right, would you say, if you're objective really, if we put aside the fact that we don't like the GNU story because it's really a concoction, is there something that could stand out as something that has been achieved by the GNU, right? Because sometimes in a bad situation, you got to find a silver lining somewhere.
Well, the GNU has kept the ANC in office. So for those who voted for the ANC, they are positive about it because they wanted it. That 40% wanted the ANC to carry on with its policies. But the rest of the country, which was the majority, didn't want the ANC and its policies. And so the DA must actually deep down be happy with the ANC policies. They claim that the ANC would have teamed up with EFF or MK. That's all nonsense. The ANC would never team up with the EFF because the EFF wants to destroy the ANC. This MK party wants to destroy the ANC, and the ANC knows that. And the EFF hates Cyril Ramaphosa. Remember, Cyril Ramaphosa was the man
who actually fired Julius.
Who fired these
Julius,
guys. He fired Julius.
Yeah.
So Julius is not going to bring them back into power. So the question is, why is the DA doing what it's doing?
But surely the DA's agenda is also to dethrone the ANC. It's the same agenda that the EFF has and MK has.
It's to use the ANC. You see, EFF wants to destroy the ANC. The DA is wanting to use the ANC.
For some kind of power of some sort.
Yeah, but I still don't understand what they are trying to use it for, because so far the ANC is carrying on with
his own policies.
Yes, it's got the Israel in the International Court of Justice, which the DA is against.
Yeah.
It is doing all sorts. It's still carrying on with BE. Mashatile the other day said that BE is here to stay.
It's going nowhere.
And the DA puts up a billboard said we're against it, but we keep the ANC in power. So I think there's a lot of confusion on the part.
Overall,
of the
then,
DA.
what does this mean for governance? Because you are opining in one of your latest papers, right, that there's a poor accountability of governance. Right?
That is really the crux of our problem in South Africa, is that when you have this kind of confusion, that you have the DA is confused, the ANC is rejected by the voters, but the DA brings it into power. But the DA hasn't got the power to stop the ANC from carrying on. So now you have a completely unaccountable government in South Africa. It's not accountable to anyone.
So is it like an inertia? Is it like would it be correct to describe it almost like it's a 5-year deadlock? Because nothing is moving forward or backwards. Because even with these policies that the ANC swears by, they are not being implemented.
Yes,
Half of it is just stuck. It's like an ideological thing, that a tick box that we have the NHI. But what happens at the local hospital, at the local clinic, doesn't even reflect that policy.
It's paralysis. You see that when you have an unaccountable government, you get two things. You get anarchy on one side, and you get paralysis on the other side. We have both in South Africa. We have the anarchy of the cat matlalas and their carry on of what they're doing. And then you have the paralysis of the do nothing, which is what is happening at the municipalities, which is what is happening in the ministries and the provincial governments and so on.
Let's analyze both. Let's start with the anarchy. I mean, how do you explain the fact that in a